All right, doing new shocks on the rear of the van, air shocks, for now until I do bags. Hopefully I don't need to do bags anytime soon, but this thing was squatting pretty bad with just my 2-car trailer. So it's definitely gonna need something for now. I've never ran air shocks, so I don't really know what to expect. A few people told me that the dampening is terrible, so not looking forward to that, but definitely still gonna give it a try considering how cheap it is. Anyways, look how freaking clean this thing is underneath here. It's so good. You never guess how many miles were on this thing. It's too clean. 7.3 power stroke. But yeah, this thing is it's a gem. It's got 450,000 miles. And look how freaking mint it is under here. It's crazy. Crazy. Even the battery box. It's just saucy under here. Alright, here's the crusty old shocks. Hopefully that was a little bit of the problem. Got the new ones in. And the lines, I used a bunch of zip ties to hold them out of the way. It came with some clips like that, but I didn't want to drill a bunch of holes in the frame. So I zip tied them all. I left all my extra line just so I have pretty much spare on hand in case I were to have a leak or something, to where I could at least piece something together, even if I have to run just from shock to shock with the valve right in the middle. You know, in an emergency, if I'm out in the middle of nowhere or stuck on the side of the road. But I just kind of ran them up over the frame rail, and then I put my valve right here. I didn't want to put it back here because I feel like even right here underneath this little shelf there, I'd definitely probably hit it and break it. And they only give you a little plastic valve tee, and it's not the nicest. It wouldn't be a bad idea to replace it with steel. But anyways, up under here, I feel like it's protected. Also, they could have made this way longer because this isn't that thick, and that's hardly enough thread to get a normal air chuck onto. So definitely a few things that could have been better. Yeah, I got lucky. I didn't have to cut these off. Everyone says you gotta pretty much chop them right here with a long Sawzall blade because they're kind of a pain to get to, but they stick a Sawzall through here and cut it off right at the bushing because normally they're seized on really bad. But these things came free pretty good. There's not a whole lot of room to get a wrench in there that's ratcheting to turn it, but you can put a wrench right down here on the bottom nut and then turn the bottom nut and just hold the upper one still, whatever works best. This one's a bit easier because there's not a fuel tank right there, but you can get your wrench in from the back side here and get nice sweeping turns pretty good, especially if you didn't have a muffler still. You'd be able to just crank that baby off real quick. I'm also going to toss spacers on the rear because these things have a way wider front track than the rear, and that can kind of make the thing want to wander around, especially if there's like road crown. So I'm going to toss those on to try to match the front track for now, and then eventually I might do some different wheels, but these things got really nice tires still, so I'm going to ride those out for a while as long as I can stand it. But yeah, freaking love this thing already. I used to use vans when I first started towing to drift events. And then I kind of ventured away for Cummins trucks. I really like Cummins trucks, but this 7.3 is too good, and I spend a lot of time on the road, so having all this extra room inside. Right now I sleep in the back seat of my other trucks, and I'm kind of getting sick of sleeping and living out of the back seat of a truck. Yeah, this thing's sick. I'm stoked. Runs really nice. It was stored inside, so I think that's why it's obviously so well kept and clean. I think my front springs are getting a little weak. You can see the bump stops have been doing some work, so I'll probably maybe do a heavier duty spring from like an ambulance or whatever, an E450 or whatnot. I'm not sure, I'd have to look more into it, but doesn't look like it's too hard. Probably do new shocks at the same time. And then I'll probably do a video. I'm gonna make a bypass oil filter setup and try and keep this baby on some real nice clean oil all the time. I'll probably make a video on that because I couldn't find any good kits for a bypass oil setup, but I've ordered up a bunch of parts, and then I'll probably do a quick little video on how I set that up. Maybe a parts list or something. Hell, maybe even sell a couple kits, I don't know. But yeah, oh, another thing I did today is I yanked off the fill neck because for some reason this thing had the small fill neck, so I couldn't fit big truck size diesel necks in there. So I popped this all the way off and then ground that out larger so I can fit, you can see, but yeah, I ground that all out so you can fit like a semi truck size truck stop filler neck. I was on the way to pick up a car the other day in a pouring windy rain and discovered that I couldn't fit a normal size filler in there, and I had to stand outside freaking getting blasted by rain and sleet and wind. It was kind of annoying, but yeah, so that's all sorted out. That's pretty much it. Hopefully those air shocks do the trick and don't just bounce me all over the place. I'll get another little clip once I get it on the ground, especially with the spacers on the back. Normally they're like crazy sunk in battleship on these vans, so it'll be nice. Poke them out just a little bit. Okay, so even with the air shocks, I put them up to 125 static, I guess you'd call it, before I put any weight down on the truck. And even with this light trailer, it still squatted it more than I would like. I had to hook up yesterday because I blew 6 gear out of that thing and had to have someone bring me this and finish a delivery. But anyways, it's still squatted with those air shocks, so I'm gonna have to do like a 2-inch lift block or something to get this thing to be level when there's any weight on the trailer, especially if I have the 2-car hooked up. But I want to check and see what the pressure's at right now. Let's see here. It's super short. Yeah, it's so damn short I can't even check it. That sucks. Hold on. Oh, we're getting somewhere. Come on. So it's maxing it out, so I'll have to get a bigger gauge. So it's over 120 right now with the weight on it. So it says don't fill it over 200 PSI. And I got a feeling to get this thing to level out how I'd want, I have to do that. So I'm gonna have to do a lift block. get my measurements today, maybe see what width, block, and U-bolts I need. Try to figure out the diameter of the pins. I already looked online. You can't find anything for these vans. It's crazy to me that it'd be different than like an F series, but who knows? We'll find out once I get some measurements. All right, that's about how I'd like it to ride when it's loaded down. That's with the jack down on the trailer just to lift off the weight. So that's what I'm looking for. So I think 2-inch blocks will do that. That's about what I lifted it up with. So should be a pretty inexpensive and effective way. Just got to figure out what's actually going to work on this thing. And then if none of that's going to work, then eventually I'll do rear bags, but not trying to do all that yet.